They call it the sweetheart swindle, a cruel game where affection is the bait and your life savings are the catch, often leaving victims with nothing but a shattered reality. Today, we explore the harrowing journey of a man who escaped a romance scam with his life, though his heart remained in pieces. My name is Dr. Bailey, and half a dozen years back, I was convinced my existence had shifted into a perfect fairy tale. I always assumed this change was permanent until 4 disastrous weeks ago. At 35, with a thriving medical practice, a 7-figure income, and fully paid-off assets, I was living the quintessential American dream. Jasmine, my stunning spouse, represented the pinnacle of my achievements. She completed my world and provided a sense of purpose I had never known. Growing up, bouncing between difficult foster homes turned me into an introvert, and medical school solidified my status as a dedicated academic. The women I previously dated only found me intriguing within the hospital walls. That interest usually faded once we stepped outside. But Jasmine was unique. She made me feel seen in a way that was undeniable from our very first encounter. During our 5 years of matrimony, I would head to the clinic every morning, radiating confidence in my tall frame and bright eyes. I became a mentor to many residents and a respected figure among peers. My life felt flawless because I knew perfection was impossible, yet I seemed to be merely inches away from it, or so I was led to believe. The last month has been a descent into hell. I tried to rationalize it, debating the facts with my friend David, whom I will introduce shortly. I have endured betrayals that would drive most men to violence, but as a physician, I prefer surgical precision over brute force, even in domestic matters. Before we dissect the ugly truth of how I exposed my wife's double life, let us travel back to where it all began. 6 years prior, I encountered the woman who redefined my world. If love at first sight exists, she certainly sold me on the concept. I was on a dinner outing with my ex, Phoebe and Bella, a nurse from my department. I had recently discovered Phoebe's affair with a junior staff member, and our relationship was plummeting. This dinner was a favor to Bella, who was desperately trying to reconcile us. I have always possessed a deep aversion to infidelity. I made it clear to every partner, Phoebe included, that cheating was an absolute deal-breaker. We spent the evening with me trying to explain my stance, while Bella remained stubborn, begging me to reconsider. Phoebe resorted to tears, giving Bella more ammunition to pressure me. Amidst this dull exchange, I spotted Jasmine entering the venue, hand in hand with another guy. The atmosphere seemed to freeze as she walked toward the table next to ours. She sat facing me, while her companion's back was turned. I must have tuned out Bella's voice because she pinched me hard, snapping me out of my trance. I apologized for my lack of manners, but focusing was impossible. My gaze kept drifting to the blonde woman across the aisle. The seating arrangement made it inevitable. As she laughed with her date, I was captivated. Suddenly, I felt cold liquid splash over me. Phoebe had thrown her red wine in my face. Bella looked equally furious at my wandering eyes. She screamed at me, grabbed her purse, and stormed out with Phoebe. I couldn't bear to meet the judgmental stares of other diners. I grabbed a napkin, wiping the crimson stain from my face. When I finally looked up, I was stunned to find the object of my distraction looking right at me. Her date was gone. A wave of thrill hit me as I offered a sheepish smile. She returned it. It felt like the room had emptied, leaving only us. She beckoned me over, ignoring the onlookers. I joined her, and we began to converse. I learned quickly that Jasmine was an actress, born 5 years after me, raised in Houston. She radiated a unique confidence and energy that pulled me in. She revealed that her date had been unfaithful, and she had just ended things with him. I was relieved, as I believed cheaters deserved no second chances. I shared my own story about Phoebe, and just like that, 2 betrayed souls found comfort in one another. Looking back, the timing was suspiciously convenient. We left as the restaurant was closing. We shared a cab to my apartment, chatting the entire way. On my porch, she kissed me, and we tumbled inside, leading to one of the most passionate nights of my life. Despite my history, nothing compared to Jasmine. We lay awake until sunrise, wrapped in each other. She showered before leaving. In my infatuation, I called Phoebe to officially end things, wanting to be free for this new chapter. Phoebe cried and tried to manipulate me, but I stood firm. It was harsh, but necessary. My friend David later gave me grief about that call, but once he knew the context, he supported me. David was my closest ally in Boston. We met through a shared patient case and bonded instantly. Later, I learned he distanced himself not because of work, but because he was wary of how quickly Jasmine and I moved. Throughout that week, Jasmine and I were inseparable via text. She opened a door to a world of color and warmth I hadn't known existed. I thought this was true love. Her laughter sparked joy in me, and I embraced the bold man she inspired me to be. That September, she moved in. By Christmas, we were committed. Amidst the scent of pine and candles, I proposed. She laughed, then said yes, demanding a ring immediately. We married 3 months later, with a reluctant David as best man. Marriage to Jasmine was paradise. She was my anchor. We didn't have children after 5 years, but we remained hopeful. We were healthy, yet IVF attempts failed, leaving Jasmine depressed. I constantly reassured her of my love, regardless of children. The first sign of trouble appeared just after our 5th anniversary. I was late coming home from an emergency surgery. I called Jasmine, but it went to voicemail. I arrived to a dark house and a sticky note saying she had a late rehearsal. I ate leftovers alone, missing her. A social media post about wine triggered a craving. I poured a glass from a bottle Jasmine gave me, then another, until I was intoxicated. I stumbled to the bedroom and flopped onto the bed. Reaching for stability, I touched a cold metal object, a laptop. In my drunken state, I opened it. I should have slept, but curiosity won. I found an email thread between my wife and a mysterious guy. The intimacy of the messages sobered me up instantly. I read months of exchanges dating back to last October. My wife was sexting a stranger referred to only as him. I felt sick. I rushed to the bathroom and purged until my stomach ached. I returned to bed, unable to sleep, my heart shattering. I suddenly recalled a suppressed memory. A week prior, I had found a journal while cleaning the garage. It was Jasmine's. I read it, smiling at entries about our love, until I found a 5-year plan about leaving a man. It matched our timeline perfectly. I had confronted her then, and she laughed it off as a character study for a role. I had believed her. Now, reading these emails, I knew I was a fool. Around 1 a.m., Jasmine returned, humming a jazz tune. I pretended to sleep. She kissed my forehead and went to shower. I felt nothing but resentment. The doctor and me knew I needed to gather evidence before making a diagnosis. Over the next few days, I avoided her. The smile I usually wore was replaced by internal agony. Then, she changed her laptop password. When I asked to use her computer, pretending mine was at the office, she panicked, typed the password herself, and hovered while I used it. She had deleted the email thread. I had no proof. I was miserable. A week later, she claimed she had a rehearsal and was meeting an old friend, Mary Ann, the best maid from our wedding. I used this opportunity. I switched shifts with a colleague to play detective. At 9 p.m., I bought binoculars and staked out her theater. Her troupe left, but Jasmine wasn't among them. Had she been with her lover the whole time? I checked the empty hall. She wasn't there. Then I heard her voice on the stairs, talking on the phone to Mary Ann. I hid. I trailed her to a diner. She sat by the window. I waited for her lover to arrive. 30 minutes passed. Finally, a car pulled up. It was actually Mary Ann. I felt a strange mix of relief and disappointment. I wanted to catch her so badly that being wrong felt frustrating. I returned home, emotionally drained. David called, and hearing my distress, he revealed he was in town. We met up. I poured my heart out about the journal, the emails, and the failed stakeout. David was skeptical, but supportive. He promised to help me get concrete evidence. Jasmine grew distant, blaming the upcoming show. On the premiere night, David and I attended. Jasmine's role was tiny, hardly justifying the intense rehearsals. David and I laughed at the absurdity, drawing stares. Jasmine found us later, beaming, and told us to leave without her as she had cast duties. We went to an Italian restaurant. When the bill came, my credit card was declined. Maxed out. I checked my balance, zero. Jasmine had access. David warned me I was being conned. Back home, David offered me a cigarette. I took it, desperate for relief. We sat in silence. After he left, I searched for alcohol. The bar was empty. I moved bottles and found a hidden container, birth control pills. We had been trying for a baby. Why was she taking these? I felt betrayed on a biological level. The next morning, I confronted her about the empty wine bottles and the pills. She deflected, claiming she wasn't ready for a child during the peak of her career. When I asked about the empty bank account, she panicked, then claimed she borrowed it for a movie production in Hawaii, promising to pay it back. She left for Hawaii the next day. She left her laptop behind. I called David. We hired an IT expert to crack it. We found no old chats, but we found hotel reservations in Hawaii for 2 people, her and him. David said it wasn't enough for a lawsuit yet. We hired a private investigator, PI. I separated my finances from our joint account. I played the role of the loving husband while the PI sent updates from Hawaii. Then, a photo arrived. The lover's face was visible. It was the man from the restaurant 6 years ago. The one she dumped the night we met. I smashed our wedding photo against the wall. It was a long con. When she returned, I greeted her with flowers, masking my rage. She claimed the movie was in view. She stayed home more, making it hard for the PI to get dirt. Then, I remembered her birthday was approaching. She would slip up then. She wanted a small party. I insisted on a big one. I volunteered to handle the media and drinks. On her birthday eve, she decorated the house. She mentioned Marianne was in the guest room sleeping. That night, her phone rang repeatedly. She stepped out to answer. I followed. She went to the guest room. A man stepped out the guy from the photos. They kissed passionately. I recorded everything from behind the bar. They went upstairs to the bedroom. I went outside to the window and filmed them engaging in the act. I heard her mock me. I had the evidence. The next day, the party started. I played the loving husband. When it was time for my speech, I announced a special video gift. I played the tape of her cheating on the big screen. The room went silent. Jasmine fled. The guests dispersed. I found her packing. She tried to gaslight me, then claimed she was pregnant with my child. She said the lover was blackmailing her. I didn't buy it. I kicked her out. In court, she used the pregnancy to delay proceedings. The judge ordered a DNA test, but she fainted and was hospitalized. The test was postponed due to health risks. I changed the locks and installed cameras. A few weeks later, Marianne called. She wanted to meet. She came to my house, acting nervous. I got paged for an emergency and had to leave her there. When I returned, she was gone. David and I checked the cameras. Marianne had raided Jasmine's closet and taken a folder. We also noticed a black van stalking the house. I tried to lure the stalker out but failed. Later, while driving to meet the PI, the black van rammed me off the road. The driver attacked my car with a bat, screaming, "Jasmine is mine." I woke up in the hospital. Bella, the nurse from years ago, was there. She revealed my phone was bugged by the stalker. Bella, David, and I went to my house. We debugged it. Bella saw a photo of Marianne and revealed the truth. Marianne was actually Jason, a cross-dresser. The lover and the best friend were the same person. We confirmed it with photos. Jasmine and Jason were running a complex scam. I went home and found hidden medical records Bella tipped me off about. Jasmine had a history of abortions. Finally, an anonymous woman contacted me. She was Jason's ex-wife. She revealed Jason and Jasmine had scammed her too, stealing her house and money. She was holding Jasmine captive to get her money back, but decided to go to the police. We raided the location. Jasmine and Jason were arrested. The pregnancy was a lie. The Marianne persona was exposed. They had scammed dozens of people. I was free. I had lost money, but I regained my life.